Hey, welcome to Goose Creek Fly Fishing. I'm Trent, and tonight I'm going to start a new series. I'm going to be tying the vintage winged wet flies. I think these are beautiful flies. They're amazing to tie, and they're fun to fish as well. So the first fly I'm going to be tying is the oldest fly that I found in my search. That would be the Professor. So the Professor was tied by Jim and James Wilson in 1820. So today's date is 2026, so that puts the fly at 206 years old. The Wilson brothers used this fly. This was a foundational fly for other Scottish flies that came after. The Grizzly King was from these brothers. The Blue Professor and the Queen of the Water were all flies that the Wilson brothers came up with as well. So sit back, get yourself an adult beverage of your choice, and let's get into the tie. All right, tonight we're going to be tying the Professor. So I went ahead and put the hook in the vise. So this fly historically is tied between a size 8 and all the way down to a size 14. So I'm going to put yellow thread on because I'm going to have a yellow floss body. And if I use black thread, it really darkens that body. Excuse me. So as you're tying, patterns, if you're going to be putting in a bright colored or a light colored floss body, use a light colored thread, and it'll really help that to stand out. So for the shoulder, or for the tail rather, I'm using, these are just two red goose shoulders, and I've went ahead and stripped two slips out of them. So I'm just gonna measure my tail, and I want it equal to the shank of the hook, or the what will be the body of the fly. So what I do is I like to let me kind of rotate it. I like to put one on either side of the hook shank, and then I just give, now I'm doing this as a pinch wrap. Oh, let me cord up this thread a little bit, tighten it up. So I'm just going to put in two loose wraps right on top of one another and get an idea of the tail. And that's about where I want it. It's got a little bit of a kick to it, but what I'm going to do is kind of pick it up a little bit, set it back down. See if I can straighten that out a little bit. All right. So I'm going to give it 2, 3. Those last wraps were really nice and tight. So next thing I'm going to put on is the what will be the rib, and this has a gold rib. Now I don't have any gold tinsel, but I do have the gold silver mylar. So I'm going to tie that in, and this is a small that I'm using. I don't have it out, or I'd show it to you. And then I'm just going to come up under and give 1, 2 wraps just to hold that in. Now I'm just going to take this material, I'm going to hold it, and I'm going to work my thread forward, and I'm going to bind all this down on top of the shank of the hook. And I'm going to take it right up to where I think I'm going to want to stop for my throat and the wing later. So just come up, just go ahead and sever that off. Give that a nice wrap. So there we are. So the next thing we'll do, let me move this around so you can see it a little better. So next thing, I'm going to take some, this is just bright yellow Unifloss. I went ahead and clipped some off. I got a section here, it's about 6 inches long. I hope it's enough. So whenever you're tying in floss bodies, cord that line up again. All right, before I go farther, gonna come back, make nice touching wraps. I want to cover up all that red because that's a little darker, and I want this light color really shining through. And I want to make sure that that tail and that ribbing is really bound down nice and tight. So these are just touching wraps going all the way back and then all the way forward. And I know I'm tying this as kind of a historical fly, you know, but there's no reason this fly, if you tied it on your line, it wouldn't catch a fish today. It's been around for a long time, and it's probably just as productive today. It's just it's not that quick tie so many people are looking for when they're tying. You know, this was back when flies took a while to tie, and there was, you know, different materials. And now a lot of flies are kind of mass produced, so they're all individually tied. They just don't have that many materials in them. So anyway, let's go on back, and I'm just making touching wraps. And as I come back, grab that floss and pull it towards you, because it will. It's not a matter if. It will twist on you, and when you pull it back, you ensure you're getting a nice flat lay down of material. Okay, and if you let it twist, it'll cord up, and you can have all kinds of ugliness. So just keep doing that. Keep wrapping it, uncording it as you go, just like so. I think I'm just going to have enough material to finish this off. So I'm going to come up, give just a couple wraps behind it, come in a couple more nice tighter wraps securing that. So we're there. Something back here on the back of my hook. Get that off. Now a lot of times I won't use my rotary function, but I'm going to tonight on this fly. So just a quick 2-turn whip finish, just to save my work. Get my tail looking right again. All right. So on this fly, as a old wet fly, you're going to want to try to put in 5 turns on your ribbing. So I got 5 in there, but that 5th one is right at the edge. That'll work. Now, whoa. Did you see that? My vise wasn't tight enough, and it just came loose. So that happens. We'll no big deal. We're just gonna get everything back where it was. Do the rib again. Maybe this time I'll get a better 5. I got 5 last time, but they were right at the end. And really, depending on the size of the hook you're using, those 5 turns have more to do with you and the size tinsel you're going to use. So on that time, I went ahead and put in 6 turns. And I put in 6 turns just so I could make sure I came up, and I got a good 5 turns in there. And then that 6th one will all be covered up anyway. No one will ever see it. All right, so next we're going to put in the throat. And the throat on this fly traditionally calls for a brown hen feather. Well, I don't really have any brown, but I have these. They're kind of mottled brown, but I think they give a nice throat on these old flies. And that's something too. If you want to get into tying these old patterns, one of the things that's kind of nice about tying them is, this thing was originally tied in 1820, so they didn't have the genetics and the feathers we have now. So they were using those Indian patch saddles and stuff. So you can pick those up pretty cheap usually, and that's the feathers you want to tie this. So what I've done is I've taken that and I've just pinched the quill of it, the tip rather, so I can draw it back, get that drawn back. Then what I'll do is I'm going to try to keep this on camera here, and I'm just going to clip that off, make myself just a little triangle right there. Now to tie this in, you can see it's got the concave. I want the concave towards the hook. Come up, get this ready. I'm going to come up and I'm going to touch that quill right at the base of that little triangle I made to the shank. And then I'm going to come up. I've done 1, 2, 3 wraps. That's all you need. It's secure. And I don't want to do a bunch because I don't want to build a lot of bulk right there at the head. That'll help you when you're tying. If you pay attention to your thread wraps, how many you put on there, preventing you from making a really big, fat, bulky, bulbous head on your flies, which generally is not something you want. All right, so I'm just stroking these back, and then I'm gonna come through. This first wrap is kind of just happens. The second one, I'm really gonna hold it nice because the fibers are a bit longer now. And I'll hold that back with my finger. And you really want to use these old style hackle pliers. I think they're called English hackle pliers. You really want to use those when you're doing this work. It helps a lot. So I'm going to put in that third wrap, and I'm using this. Now I can come up. I'm just going to work my thread through. I just really want to let that drop. A couple securing wraps there. Take those pliers off. And come through. Get everything nice and down. Now I know people that'll just pluck that off. I tend to just like to use my scissors. If you've watched me tie, you've probably noticed there's days I don't hook my vise up very tight, and if I pulled like that, there's a good chance I could just pop my fly right out. Now all I'm going to do is I'm just cleaning up the head. I'm really not wrapping back onto the throat much because I don't need to, because I did a good job of folding that back when I was tying that in. So we're here. Now, a while ago, before I folded that throat down, I just kind of had that hackle around. I don't know that this fly exists, but if you wanted to tie a professor spider pattern, soft hackle pattern, you could have just left it right there, and you would have been good. So I'm going to bring down this thread, and now I'm going to tie in my black. So I'm going to start right at the edge, behind the eye of the hook where I've got some bare shank, and I'm just going to wrap back over all the yellow. And what'll happen is I'll end up wrapping over the yellow, over that yellow thread that I've tied in, essentially locking it down like I would any other fly tying material I'm tying into, right? So bring all that up above. I try really hard never to clip under my hook when I'm tying, because, well, I've clipped off more than enough times doing that and cut my own thread. So the last thing we're going to do is put in the wing. The wing on this fly is going to be mallard. This is a mallard flank feather. So what I'm doing, I'm going to make a folded wing is what it's called. So I'm taking this material and I'm moving everything out so it's perpendicular, a 90 degree off the shank of the hook. So once I'm there, I'm just going to pull that off. So see, now I have that material. So what I'm going to do, and this is kind of delicate work sometimes, I'm going to fold this into thirds. So let me take it. It's kind of hard to show you. I'm going to take it, I'm going to fold it in that third, bring that up, and then I'm going to take that top, fold that down. So there. Now, you see these old flies and you think, geez, how did they tie that beautiful wing, you know, on such a small little pattern? Well, they didn't tie it like you're thinking, where they took slips from two feathers. They folded it like so. And see, and I get a nice flat straight wing. So now I'm just going to measure my wing to length. And I like my wings to go right about the shank, back to about the bend of the hook. So right about, and I know I'm measuring it just a little long, but I'm measuring it a little long because I know when I tie it, it's going to want to kick up. So we're here. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cord up my thread, like so. Come up, nice tight pinch wrap. Just let the thread kind of work between your fingers, right? Pinch it nice and tight. It's going to collapse on you because it's just barbels. Okay. I got a little piece of my throat there that's just giving me problems. There we go. So I'm still pinching everything really hard, really tight. I'm working that back because I can see where my head was. I just want to make sure I get that nice and covered. Okay. My tail is giving me fits. You know, I'd probably have a better time if I just used synthetic stuff that you can just set it once and it just stays. There we go. There. All right, now I'm going to hold my wing, come up underneath, sever all that excess off. Hold that throat back. Come in and give myself a nice, beautiful little black head. So there, let me put a whip finish on, some lacquer, and this will be done. One, two, three, turn whip finish. Like always, my flies are for fishing. I don't usually tie them for any other reason. Some of them end up on a shadow box for myself, but there is the professor. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please look to like and share.